Where's Joe?
Yeah, both stressing me out. Shoot.
Joe, it's about time you get in here. I'm all caffeinated up. I've been benching, getting my reps in. How jacked I am.
I see that.
Swole. Got my swole on.
Oh, you got the swirl on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Was blood and guts scary for you, Joe? Was there too much bleed?
I
There was blue. There was violence.
uh,
That's blood and violence. Yeah, tomato, potato, bowling ball, doesn't matter.
hold on.
Look at Joe at his computer doing computer guy stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, he's real techie.
Yeah, I had to make I got some work that got to be due, so I'm just gonna just say, hey, yeah, I'm doing other work, so
Well, multitasking. It's a great skill.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm looking at 3 screens. Well, 4. I have 4 screens going. I'm counting the camera,
Right.
laptop, monitor,
There we go.
iPhone.
iPhone. There you go.
I don't like it. I will never like the. I have it. I don't like it. I don't use it unless I have to use that. Definitely prefer the Pixel, but that's just me. It's just different strokes for different folks, Joe. That's all there is.
I got you.
What'd you think of Dynamite last night, Joe?
I would say after the MJF speech,
You turned it off. You just wanted your MJF fix, and that was it for you. That's a wrap. Joe's seen MJF. He's going home.
No.
Time to go to bed.
No. For one, I like to say at least he gave the title a good name. Not a perfect name, but it's got it.
Did you catch it, though? So
the
anyway,
American Champion.
They said MJF called it the American Championship.
Yeah.
I think Shivani said it's not. They're not changing the name. It's still the international title.
I don't know.
Panther, the staple guns. We're gonna get to the staple guns.
Yeah, I say the American sound better.
I think they should change the name of that championship. It should call it the American Championship. First of all, it's not an international title. It's not defended internationally. I guess it will be at All In. So one time a year, I guess Canada. I guess Canada would be international.
Yeah,
but
I guess so.
it's still North America. We're not changing continents. They can't call it North American title. I get that. But the belt looks dope. Yeah, MJF is going to Mexico. That's right. He's going to go to CMLL and defend that title.
That is right. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's South America. I mean, I don't know. International title doesn't work for that belt. It just doesn't.
They can't. I don't know if they got the rights to call it like an Intercontinental Championship, but I don't think they do.
I mean, I can't imagine that could be trademarked, right?
I don't know.
Like, Intercontinental is a word. You can't just trademark a word.
I know, like, IWGPA got their version of the Intercontinental Championship, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I understand not wanting to call it Intercontinental because wrestling fans will, of course, wrestling fan, and they will shit on that as if they're just trying to rip off WWE. But man, there's a better name. The American title works. Like, first of all, the belt looks dope. It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so Apollo Creed. It's beautiful.
Apollo Creed. Okay, we'll go with Apollo Creed.
Panthers in our comments live on Instagram that some places have a bigger market for WWE and AEW doesn't want to risk empty stadiums and wasted deals. I get that to a degree. However, we have all seen plenty of fairly empty arenas for AEW. I don't think they're that scared of them, but I get not going to some markets. I mean, not going to parts of the country. There are A markets, B markets, and there's D markets. I have been to wrestling shows in D markets. I have been to WWE and AEW shows in what's considered to be a D market for combat sports in general, not just pro wrestling. And those crowds suck. It's rough. It's a rough go. There are crowds that are hot. There are crowds that are good for combat sports in general. But man,
It's like a house
let me tell you
show.
something. You go to Columbus, Dayton area, which AEW is coming to Dayton area. Hopefully, it's a smaller arena. You get a more intimate feel. I went to an AEW show in the Columbus area. It may have even been in Columbus. I don't think it was Dayton. Yeah, I think it was Columbus. It was right around OSU. Man,
Uh,
that crowd sucked.
that's definitely Columbus then.
Great venue. Free refills on your soda. Worth a mention.
I can
Uh,
imagine.
crowd sucked. Now it was one of the first one of the first shows after Cody left, and, I think that truly impacted just the vibe of an AEW live show. But man, it was not a good crowd. But I've also been to MMA events in that same area. Not good crowds. Uh, uh, Pittsburgh, always a great crowd.
You can't beat
Always.
Pittsburgh. You can't beat
You know,
Pittsburgh. I don't,
oh man, Nashville, great crowd. Memphis, great crowd. Cleveland, generally an okay crowd.
this just depends on the show and the day for Cleveland.
Um, it does. It depends on who's on it, who's on the card. One thing I didn't like, so AEW in Cleveland, one thing I did not like, well, I guess I did like it, but I think it was a bad vibe for AEW. It's like people did not stay engaged for Ring of Honor. The Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse emptied out for the Ring of Honor part of the show, which is great. Those who know, I don't like to be around a lot of people.
Well,
It's not my jam.
you gotta think about it. They do what, a show at 7 to
It's
8.
a long night. If you go to Dynamite and it's a Dynamite with like everything, where they're doing the Rampage, the Collision,
Mm-hmm.
and the Ring of Honor, man, you got like 7 hours of wrestling. You are getting value
Uh,
at an AEW show. Um, Raw is tons of fun to go to. You're not getting the same value that you're getting when you go to an AEW show, though. Even though you're getting 3 hours of Raw, you're getting a
mm-hmm.
lot of commercials. And
That is true.
even
4 minute
during the
break.
match, man, commercial breaks ain't the jam. You're getting someone in a chin lock for 3 minutes. Like it's not going to be tons of cool shit happening. But the Ring of Honor portion of AEW is just match, 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 match.
That is true.
It's paced out really well. It's a good time. Uh, Anywho, you like the MJF opening?
And
You
yeah,
like the title? You
I like, it's a name I can pronounce. That's all I can say.
do you like that it's MJF versus Will Ospreay all in Wembley?
I think that's a good story. Yes, I like that better.
How do you feel about Will Ospreay taking the original title out of the garbage can?
It's almost like, who did that before? I think he did it just to save the belt because he probably
You think
thinks
that
it.
was it? You think it was just kind of a coincidental
Yeah,
he picks that up? You don't think there's more to it?
I think there's more to it. I think he's gonna revive it if he beats MJF at Wembley.
What I hope they do, and this is just my hope. So I think whenever you have two titles going around, right? I think interim champions, right? That's what I always envision, which I don't know. I have my opinions of interim champions in combat sports and in pro wrestling. Just my thing. But you have two titles. So if this doesn't become a ladder match at Wembley, having Will Ospreay take that belt out of the garbage on TV was pointless. Hang both belts from the ceiling.
Mm.
Well, I guess not really. I mean, but suspend them from something at Wembley and let these guys do a ladder match at Wembley. Yeah, Leo Rush has a match on ROH this week. Man, Leo Rush is doing great work. I really hope they bring Blackheart Leo Rush into AEW, but that's just a personal thing. It's just I really think he does that character very well. But man, yeah, Will Ospreay MJF at Wembley should be a damn ladder match. Let's get both those belts up there.
That's gonna be like saying they're gonna merge the two belts together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then they're gonna call it some crazy ass name again.
Yeah. It'll be Intergalactic Planetary Intergalactic Championship.
It's probably gonna be like the American
My Beastie Boys fans out there.
Yeah.
One lonely Beastie IB.
Yeah, the American Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, all American, all Intercontinental, coast to coast, space ghost. One flew over the cuckoo's nest, a partridge in a pear tree. Championship.
Yeah, I just think they need to find a better
Don't
person.
get me derailed. I'm making fun of that damn belt, Joe. You know I will get lost in the weeds making fun of that shit. They do have to merge titles. They got to merge those belts. Come up with something. I love the look of the MJF belt, but have these two have a ladder match for God's sake. Tony Khan, Tony, I know you're watching or listening. I know you're a busy man. Got your earbuds in, whatever. MJF versus Will Ospreay at Wembley has got to be a ladder match. You have to suspend both those belts. Do the ladder match. Also, very important. This is very, very, very. Joe, come in here.
Oh Lord,
I'm closer.
Here we go.
I'll tell you something. You're gonna do this as a ladder match at Wembley. MJF has to come out like Scott Hall. You have to have Will Ospreay come out first. Man, damn, Will Ospreay's got to come out second though. Okay, you can have whichever way you go. Will Ospreay has to be hesitant to walk under the ladder. The ladder has to be set up at the entry. Okay. Will Ospreay has to not walk under the ladder. He doesn't want bad luck. MJF has to walk to that ladder, smile at the camera, and then he has to Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, walk under that ladder like he doesn't care about superstition. Right? That's how it's got to be. That's how that has to be presented. You can't. It's got to go like that. So, Tony Khan, I know you're in here having your morning coffee with us. We appreciate you checking us out, Tony. And that's free. It's free, creative. From me to you, please use it. I will appreciate that. All right. Is there any other elements that of Dynamite you would like to discuss this morning besides the Blood and Guts match? Do you want to talk about Camille?
No.
Here's all I'll say. She has to be presented as a killer. No one should be able to get near Mercedes. That's how you establish her as a star. Yeah. She has to protect Mercedes at all costs until it's time for her to take Mercedes out. There you go. Let's talk Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts show.
They should have set his ass on fire. That's it.
You wanted to see Jack Perry set on fire? You are sadistic, Joe. You are a violent man.
It's called Blood and Guts for a reason.
And there was plenty of blood.
And they set his ass on fire. That would have been the best. That would have been the talk of the town. That would have been the highlight. That would have been their most YouTube view of all, seeing Jack Perry get set on fire.
Yeah. It's Blood and Guts. There's plenty of blood. Those been longtime fans know I am an old school ECW fan. I'm an old school WarGames fan. WWE's WarGames not being violent and bloody has not ever sat well with me. I like that they took the roof off in NXT for the high flyers, but it not being violent has never sat well with me. But I'm not a deathmatch guy.
He's not, y'all. He's
I'm
not.
not. But they did everything in Blood and Guts well. Blood and Guts greater than WarGames. WWE's version of WarGames as it did today. Exploding baseball bat, yeah.
See.
I think I agree with Matt Jackson that the exploding super kick doesn't get enough credit. That spot they've done in the past. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of things were played very well in War Games. The heels played the heels well. Um, baby faces did their job. The elite did their heel spot of being in charge, making them start the match without Swerve actually in the ring. A very good heel moment. Um, is Swerve Strickland the John Wick of staple guns?
I guess so.
That the staple gun spot with Swerve was fantastic.
I guess so. I guess he is.
An
Hey,
exploding Superman. So we got Panther in our comments here live on Instagram. Exploding Superman punch would be a great thing to see.
it would be, but I don't think that. That means they'll have to get like Thanos' hand, and then
Yeah, they would need the Infinity Gauntlet somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Which then you run into the Cole Myers glove on a pole match, and we don't need that shit happening. Those of you old heads like me who remember that shit.
That it was a fun match. I'm gonna throw that. That was a funny match.
Yeah. All in all, man, what do you think of? How do you feel about Blood and Guts? Did you enjoy the match in its entirety? I know you wanted to see Jack Perry set on fire.
I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
I think I think that's agreeable. I think 9 out of 10 for Blood and Guts is fair. Yeah,
No.
the Okada and Swerve staple gun spot was hilarious. I think everything they had Swerve do with the staple gun spot, like that was well thought out. The spot with the Young Bucks of having them staple each other was good. Darby, man, Darby's coffin drop off the top was pretty cool. I like that.
Darby, I swear he just stopped that coffin drop. He's got to.
How did you like so let's talk about the chair shot heard around the world. Let's get there. Before we talk the ending, chair shot heard around the world, taking a lot of flack. Corey Graves commented on it and then deleted his tweet about unprotected chair shots to the head. Those who don't know, that spot last night was paying homage to Tommy Dreamer and Raven in ECW. Chair shot heard around the world. I don't know if the chair that met Jack Perry's cranium last night was gimmicked in any way.
I don't think it was gimmicked. That looked
I'm going to assume it was gimmicked.
I think that was a real chair shot to the head.
You think so? You think they just folding chairs? Just I will say it was done very high up on the chair, so you didn't have a lot of force on it.
Yeah.
Oh, your sister's in here, Joe. Just hoping you're practicing your skateboarding skills. That's right. Yeah, Joe's got to go skateboarding with me, guys.
See, I was trying to yesterday, but my dear furry friends, the geese, are back in the neighborhood, so they in the way.
Man, you can ollie over a goose.
I'll be waiting for that skateboard.
I think I feel like the chair was probably gimmicked. They can just sand it down, get that metal nice and thin. Yeah. So here's the thing: a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, the violence of this match, these guys going into business." Everything they did had to be planned out. Everything had to get Tony's okay. to make
Mm-hmm.
it onto Turner TV. That's like 100%. That's how it had to be. So they talked about these spots. I mean, Eddie Kingston recently talked about a spot he wanted to do, and Tony has told him no a bunch of times. He wants to do the Ric Flair Terry Funk spot where Terry Funk used the plastic bag and suffocated Ric Flair, and Tony will
Oh,
not let hkn do that spot. So Tony Khan is controlling these spots these guys do, which is great. He absolutely should be. Which is why I have to assume that chair was gimmicked. They sanded that thing down so it wasn't as impactful, but it was also done in a way to protect Jack Perry as much as possible. It wasn't stiff. It was very loose. It was the end of the chair. It wasn't dead center, full force. It wasn't. I mean,
yeah.
it wasn't every chair shot swung in the attitude era. It wasn't the Rock Ken Shamrock. Put it that way. That wasn't what that chair shot was. Uh,
Or him and Mick Foley,
yeah.
Mankind.
Corey Grayson, like the memory lapses aren't worth it. As a guy who's had a lot of concussions and has some significant memory lapses, yeah, it's not worth it. No concussion is worth it. Just got to put that out there. But there are zero reports that Jack Perry suffered a concussion.
So,
If Jack Perry didn't suffer a concussion, I'm going to assume that was a very well done chair shot and a very protected gimmick chair, which I,
I'm going to look at. I'm
I
going to look at.
totally support. It's what I want it to be. I don't want I don't want wrestlers getting concussed and I don't know getting tetanus from dirty staples and shit.
I'm going to look at that chair shot again later today. Just give you my opinion if it's real or not. I'm going to look at it
You check it out. Tell me if you think that chair is gimmicked. I definitely think if it's whether it was gimmicked, whether it wasn't gimmicked, it was a very well done chair shot. Um, Here's my question: post Blood and Guts,
again.
does this change War Games in WWE?
No, no,
WWE's
no.
changing. It's evolving. There was a time where there was no blood. Period. For a lot of reasons. It's advertisers, it's marketing,
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to get sued for kids trying this at home. It's for social media. If you have blood on your video, if you don't go black and white, you're not monetizing that on Instagram, you're not monetizing that on Facebook, you're not making money on YouTube. So there's a lot of reasons to not have it there. But the match itself, every War Games main roster WWE,
Mm-hmm.
this Blood and Guts was infinitely better. Infinitely better. The NXT ones were a little different. Man, I'm real close to saying that this Blood and Guts was possibly better than the NXT War Games. I have to watch the match again in its entirety to say that for sure, but definitely better than main roster War Games.
I would say. I would say better than last year's War Games. It was better than last year's War Games.
Panther wants to see changes, maybe more thumbtacks, light tubes, doors, but other than that, maybe not because of sponsoring. Okay, so the doors thing, them using doors in GCW and a lot of the indies, I hate that spot. I hate the doors. I hate the use of hollow core interior doors in professional wrestling.
I can see that.
I understand it's a decent visual, but if you ever handled an interior door, you understand it's just cardboard inside. Like it's not. I don't know. It drives me nuts. I don't know why, but it drives me nuts. Uh, I think they're gonna have to up the ante in War Games. Yeah, I think we might see more blood because WWE is evolving. We're out of the PG era. Netflix is coming. Netflix is coming soon.
I know.
I I think we're gonna see blood in this year's War Games.
But the thing about it, they don't got to show blood. They can show weapons, thumbtacks, whatever. They don't got to show blood. They'll just show more physical cold violence or more high flying stunt from the top rope and stuff like maybe from the top of the steel cage. They don't really show all that blood.
So me personally, I think that again, I'm not a deathmatch guy. There doesn't have to be blood in all of my professional wrestling. Every match doesn't have to be a John Moxley match. But I do think you lose something in a Hell in a Cell match when you don't have blood. I think you lose something in a WarGames match when you don't have blood. And I think you lose something in a steel cage match when you don't have blood. I think those matches are, because of what those matches are supposed to be, they are supposed to end feuds. That they're supposed to be the blow off. That's it. That's everything builds to this, and this is where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
I You got to get color. I think that I I don't know what this year's War Games is going to be. I've been widely speculated it's going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. If we don't start building to that at SummerSlam, I don't know if that's what we're going to get. And for it to be Bloodline versus Bloodline, I would have liked for it to be Rock's Bloodline, Roman's Bloodline, not necessarily Roman's Bloodline, Solo's Bloodline. But that latter is probably more likely than the Rock Roman. But I don't know if the Samoans do blood in War Games. What do you think? If Cody's in War Games, Cody's going to blade. Cody will get color in War Games this time. Because AEW did a great blood and guts, and that was his baby for AEW, and he didn't get to see it to fruition. So I would have to think that if he gets into War Games again, Cody's going to want to be the guy to get colored. If it's all Samoans, does it happen?
You really see a Samoan bleed unless The Rock did.
I mean, Roman's not in color. He got color against Brock.
Yeah, but
Oh, Joe, right there, Panther speaking to you.
what's up?
Bloodline story. He'd love to see 3 stages of hell in the future.
And I said about Drew and CM Punk.
Joe wants every feud to be 3 stages of hell. That's Joe's whole gig.
Sorry, y'all. I just like 3 stages of hell. That's about it. They should break. That was like the best thing in the world. No match. Then you got the DQ, and then the 3 stages of hell. That was great.
Yeah. I mean, it's a heck of a way to end a feud.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm nervous about Punk and Drew going from SummerSlam to Hell in a Cell immediately following. I feel like that's not a good enough build, but they've done a lot of stories, so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you gotta give them credit. They made a story with a man being injured for the past 6 months.
Yeah. It's been the retelling of Bret Hart and HBK.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn couldn't wrestle, so they did promos. Punk can't wrestle, they use social media. It's been a great story being told. And I get why Punk wants to stick around in WWE. Nowhere else has a platform to tell a story while you're injured. And when your guy is injury prone, probably good to be able to be utilized. I wonder if they're counting that time as injury time for him, even though he's been doing things. He hasn't been wrestling. I wonder if it's still counting against him to extend his contract at the end, which he wants anyway, but I wonder how they use that. I
don't think they will. He might not been wrestling, but he was doing commentary. He was doing everything. He wasn't off the scenes. He was still around. So
yeah, he stayed active. He stayed involved in things. He's the king of social media because he's been engaged in it without being engaged in it, like without doing petty shit, he's been able to be the talk of the town. So it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you foresee any type of increased aggressiveness on the SummerSlam card as a quote unquote response to Blood and Guts? Or do you think they won't acknowledge anything? They won't, because you'll often see if AEW opens Wednesday and it's a certain style match, SmackDown seems to open with a similar style match, be flippy guys, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
You think WWE will uh, kind of change course in any manner, or do you think this is just a changing face of pro wrestling in this moment where it's just the summertime things are going to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more violent? A couple years ago, we had Nick Gage and Jericho. Last night, we had Jericho and Minoru Suzuki, and Murder Grandpa split Jericho's chest open, legit broke one of his fingers.
I will say this. If you guys see an aggressive match, I would say it's going to be Priest and Gunther having an aggressive match.
Think they'll do the strong style type of match? Are you still saying Damian Priest wins that?
I'm still going with it. I think they're going to push Priest. And I think with Gunther calling him out, saying that he was homeless from the streets, he's going to try to use that street mentality and show him what the streets look like and just knock him the hell out and still be babyface.
Or what if that emotion cost Damian Priest his title? What if getting emotional takes that title off of Damian Priest? What if that's the wrong way for Priest to go? You really believe Damian Priest keeps his belt, huh?
I'm seeing Damian Priest keeping that belt to the end of 2024 and the Royal Rumble, somewhere around there.
It does seem like so. I'm with Panther. It seems like Gunther should win with him walking as champ at the Bash in Berlin as champ, but I agree with Joe. Damian Priest is being pushed as a babyface as we creep into that Netflix era of Raw. He could be top babyface on Raw with Braun Breaker emerging up as a top heel. I feel like Gunther should be the guy. I don't want to say I feel like Priest is a transitional champion, but I don't know what else to feel about Damian Priest, to be honest. I do, however, think Damian Priest probably wins at SummerSlam, even though I don't agree with it. And I think that mainly because they're giving him a one-man show. He's going to do a one-man show SummerSlam weekend in Cleveland.
That is right.
Why would they have him do a one-man show if he's not going to be champ? I don't know. But maybe Gunther wins it at Bash in Berlin. Maybe he loses at SummerSlam and he wins it in Berlin. That'd be cool. Be a good moment for him. Or he doesn't win it in Berlin, much like how Drew didn't win at Clash of the Castle and we all thought he was going to. Maybe we wait till Gunther wins the Rumble.
Maybe. But I'm just saying, Priest is going to ride that belt.
I do think Cena, in the moment, I think Cena wins Rumble next year, but hey, maybe Gunther wins. Maybe it's Gunther and Cena as the final two, and Gunther puts Cena out.
You know what? I know what's going to happen. When I said Cena's going to win, I thought about it over the week. What if they did the 08 Cena? When he came back from that injury, and then he won the Rumble, and he didn't want to wait till WrestleMania. He wanted to do it at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So what if this is how it goes down? Cena challenges, we'll just say, I don't know, we'll just say Cody. We'll just say Cody at the Elimination Chamber. We'll just say Elimination Chamber. then at the Elimination Chamber, they have like a little qualified match for somebody to face the winner of Cena and Cody. Cena loses because this is how, they do the whole storyline with Undertaker and Shawn. You got Randy being in the heel, taking Cena out and stopping him being the champion. And then that's how you build the feud up for Cena and Orton at WrestleMania.
Huh. I can see that. Panthers in our comments live on Instagram thinking Rhea might be the one to get color. Her and Liv have a violent match.
Mm.
I could see that maybe. I could see that. I think the more stark visual would be if Liv got colored. Blonde hair, bleeding,
Nah.
much like Tony Storm. Hard to look at.
I think they would rather have Rhea get the more blood because she got the more makeup on, and Liv is the pretty face blondie.
Yeah, that's why it would be a stark contrast. It would be what people don't want to have happen.
Yeah.
And it could be the beginning of the killer turn for her and Dom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But that storyline's also one I don't care about. Just
I
saying.
don't care about this. I know, but they do say that's like the talk of the town right now, that storyline.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's a great storyline for people who don't like professional wrestling, who like love stories. I get it. I, I get it. So that's not my thing. Just not judging anybody. Whatever you feel, you feel.
Ooh.
Bailey and I don't know. It's
It, it,
it's not
yeah.
convincing that anyone beats Nia Jax. She's not convincing.
Well,
I can't buy into that without shenanigans and tomfoolery. Joe, you watching TNA tonight, or are you watching Ring of Honor?
I'll try to find TNA tonight. I'll try to find TNA.
I will try to watch a little bit of both. I don't know how much I will watch because, as you may know, Joe, I got Gundams to build. Still save 10% off your purchase online or in store at Haven Hobby. It's Illyria Gumpla is a promo code you can use online or in store. And a non-sponsored note to that, if you go to Hobby Lobby this week, their model kits are all 40% off. So,
I know you're going to be at this weekend.
yeah, well, I have to get there before the end of the day Saturday, because then they aren't open on Sundays. They close promptly at 8 p.m. As I know, because I was by a Hobby Lobby a few days ago at 8:05 and they were closed. They don't play around.
Mm-hmm.
But every other week they do 40% off their model kits, so it's a good opportunity to save some money. Joe, it's been great morning coffee session with you, my friend. I think Blood and Guts was fantastic. I hope it pushes WWE to push a little bit more in the WarGames match and in our Hell in a Cell match. That's probably going to be Drew versus Punk, or maybe it'll be a triple threat. Seth and Drew and Punk all in a Hell in a Cell. But that match has to have color. However that match goes at Bad Blood, it has to have color. And the fact that the Bad Blood pay-per-view has a history to live up to, it makes me nervous about the outcome of matches for SummerSlam. I feel like SummerSlam's kind of going to be used as a platform to build toward Bad Blood.
I feel like, I don't know. I think Bad Blood, call me crazy, but I think somebody's going to get thrown off that roof.
You think someone's getting chucked off the cell of Bad Blood?
I think somebody's going to throw this. I think somebody's going to get thrown off.
The only one who could would be Drew. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but Seth or Punk, neither one can take that bump.
I don't know, but I just got a feeling they're gonna try to bring back history, refresh some of the people of what the meaning of Hell in a Cell is, and somebody gonna land by Corey Graves or Michael Cole. One of them. Don't know who.
Boy, I'll be honest, I didn't even give that any consideration at all.
I did, but just like how they did with but I think they're gonna do it how they did with Shane McMahon Undertaker, how they had the little airbags under the table.
They're going to be safe. Nobody's taking that just for one table like they did. Panther, no worries about not being here for last night's show, man. It's great that you're working on your creative wrestler work for 2K. That's awesome. I have not played the new 2K.
Shame on you.
Man, good. What if they do a couple? What if they do a couple Hell in a Cell matches at Bad Blood? What if Rhea and Liv end up in a Hell in a Cell? What if Roman is solo to a Hell in a Cell?
I think they did do that before. They did do 2 Hell in a Cell at one pay-per-view.
Well, they've done Hell in a Cell pay-per-views where it's just they did several Hell in a Cell main events. But Bad Blood is just being advertised as Bad Blood. No one's saying anything about Hell in a Cell and Bad Blood yet. It's just all of us speculating. Punk said it shouldn't be a Hell in a Cell match. Said that you can't have that match happen so soon. And I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
But it just seems poetic to do it. Nobody else is engulfed in a blood feud besides those two.
That is true. But I think it's going to happen. And somebody going to get tossed off that top. I could be wrong, y'all. I could be wrong. Don't quote me about it.
No, I can see it. It makes sense. And I never even considered it. Everyone, thank you for checking us out live on Instagram this morning with our morning coffee. We will be watching Ring of Honor TNA tonight. Tomorrow night is SmackDown. Build us some Gundams. We will be back Sunday. Talk the whole week in wrestling rumors. We'll preview Raw a little bit, maybe.
Oh, people, don't forget 5:35, the trivia for SummerSlam. There you go. Bam, 5:35.
Oh, yeah, 5:35 Sunday. SummerSlam trivia. Study. Be ready. Illegal Brother-in-Law Takeover Trivia Show on Sunday.
There we go.
Mark, you better know something about SummerSlam.
Remember,
because
10 questions.
my memory's bad.
Yeah.
I got a bad rememberer. Thank you for checking us out live on Instagram. If you're not live on Instagram, you're on Spotify, YouTube, and the Rumble. We appreciate you being here. Don't say the F word. Pro Wrestling Combat Sports Podcast. We do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. Shouldn't let your friends use it either. We also don't pay Joe his 5%. We're out.
We're out.